Hi, this is Kitty Anderson again. I am a board certified menopause coach and I coach on menopause. And the purpose of this YouTube channel is to get you all the information that you need to make decisions, especially about optimizing your HRT. So, today I'm going to just talk a little bit, and most of this will be a PowerPoint for you, right? So, I'm just going to talk a little bit about progesterone and how that molecule is a little bit different than the other progestins and how you're going to get different results, but also just the details about how you should feel on progesterone and how it should kind of change your life, the big transformation that you're expecting. And you've got to remember that you're an individual and that it's going to maybe respond a little bit differently to you. It will definitely respond differently if you have a high level of estradiol and a high level of testosterone. So you hear me talk a lot about high doses, and we see just better effects with high doses. And you hear me talk a lot about the best HRT. So we're talking about transdermal estradiol, progesterone, not MPA, not a Mirena IUD, and we're talking about transdermal testosterone. So those are the things that we're always leaning towards or trying to optimize the best products. And then we want to move towards optimizing our dose for each of those products. So this will be a short video. I just want to cover this. I did cover this at the very end of my video on the IUD problems and the problems with IUDs, which are not progesterone. So, but I saw a high level of interest in the PowerPoint. So I'm just going to include that PowerPoint here and I'll do a voiceover to talk a little bit about how you actually apply this. So I hope this really helps you. Okay. So my mantra about high dose HRT is not exactly as applicable to progesterone. The normal cycle of a reproductive woman is going to have a high peak of progesterone and then it's going to valley and then you're going to have a little low dose throughout the month. So it's possible that we may end up going to that kind of a dosing during postmenopause. We don't have any guidance on that yet. So really, you're going to have to be adjusting that progesterone dose based on how you feel. And it's really how you feel emotionally, and then whether or not you're bloated or having any other types of issues. So we're going to adjust that dose up and down. We're going to move that dose around a little bit. So that's different than estradiol, which we try to push up towards the ceiling of what we can tolerate, and the testosterone. You got to push it up to a point where it's activated. It's not activated underneath a threshold. So those I'm like, go, go, go. But progesterone is kind of modifiable. You might need a really low dose vaginally that keeps your head clear. You might need a higher dose for sleep and pain and those types of things. So you're going to optimize it based on how you feel. I want you to treat this like a Hormones 101 course. So basically, this is raw science for you. This is what progesterone does in the body of a reproductive age woman. So we basically go to zero or close to zero, no matter what our health condition. Even if you don't have a chronic disease, you are down to nothing, and you are definitely going to have some problems without this in your body. So your OBGYN comes at this with the lens of your uterus, right? So they care about uterus health. So they think if you don't have a uterus, you may not need progesterone. Um, that seems wrong to me. And you'll see from this long list, this is why I think it's wrong. So definitely question your doctor about it. And if you need any additional help with sleep or muscle relaxation, those are signs that you actually still need the progesterone. You do need it. So go back to your doctor and get that progesterone. Okay? When we talk about dosing, we talk about using about 100 milligrams nightly for definitely the low dose estradiol. So you're kind of balancing these two things together. So for 0.1 milligram patch or lower, you're going to be able to use a 100 milligram progesterone tablet, generic progesterone tablet, pretty effectively. So this will cost you about $15 a month. If you have higher than 0.1 milligram patch, you'll very likely need to go to a higher dose of progesterone. And they make a 200 milligram tablet, so you can head up to 200 milligrams and see how the side effects are. And then if you need to go higher, you can combine a 200 and a 100 to get the effect of a 300 milligram. And I've heard women going up to 400 milligrams. So it's possible that this will really work for you. If you are having progesterone reactions, see my video all about progesterone reactions. And they do interfere with the testosterone. And so if you're having low libido or low motivation, low confidence, those types of things, you just add that testosterone back in and that should repair that issue. Or you can lower down that dose of progesterone. See my video, progesterone reactions. All right. Progesterone actions in your body. Okay, so your body in reproductive age had a normal cycle of high and low progesterone, as well as high and low estradiol and testosterone. And these elements used to balance each other out from month to month, creating an experience that is optimized for health. We want to recreate this to some extent post-menopausally. So we try to get our blood levels of hormones up to reproductive age. We don't currently know a way to balance out these three hormones aside from moving one at a time. Okay, here we go. Hormones crosstalk. Hormones don't work in isolation. Of course not. Your body is all one system. Everything that you do matters. Your body weight affects how HRT works. This is really critical. And that's why we get the HRT really early before we have problems with our body weight. Progesterone actually prepares the estrogen receptors, and that affects how estradiol HRT works in your body. So once again, if you don't have a uterus, there is still a role for progesterone in your estradiol HRT. Progesterone hurts testosterone and your happiness receptors, so boost your testosterone if you boost your progesterone. All three, estradiol, progesterone, and testosterone, boost your mood and make you feel normal again. Your diet really affects how your HRT works. For example, if your saturated fats are really high, you might have a very high buildup of estradiol in your body, possibly a dangerous buildup. Other drugs that you take will affect how your HRT works. I want you to work with your doctor on this. Make a list of all your drugs. Take that into your doctor. They have a special database that can help you there. And lastly, stress really affects how your HRT works. It's more effective if you are actually managing your stress and keeping that stress hormone cortisol very, very low. So sometimes psychiatry can help you here, and it can help you avoid the stress-related diseases. So it's quite complicated, but keep all these things in mind when you're using HRT. So how do you prepare your body for that wonderful HRT? Well, we do this in coaching. So let's cover a few things that coaching can do for you. All these result in optimizing your HRT. So making it all work so that you have a happy, healthy next 40 years. First, we discuss the best and worst HRT, discuss your options for attaining best HRT, helping you understand what's FDA approved and how that is ideal for your health moving forward. Then we talk about nutrition. We'd like to get the HRT in first because there's so many interactions with our food behaviors. HRT will support dieting. HRT will give you the energy to exercise. But in addition, we want to optimize our nutrition. We need to go well beyond what we think a healthy diet is and move into actual counting of nutrients, at least initially, to help you understand how foods can help you or hurt you. We also go into movement. And really, this is finding the movement that works for you. Mostly women are moving into walking as exercise. This is considered aerobic and resistance exercise. We want to help you avoid pharmaceuticals that hurt you. I have a list of pharma that causes weight gain and a list that causes dementia. We talk about stress management and help you develop a personal plan. I have access to a book that has 90 different techniques for managing stress. We all know there's a mind-body connection. Toxin reduction. So this is helping you identify and eliminate toxins that can interfere with your HRT. Sleep. I have to educate you on sleep chemistry. It is so incredibly complex, and you are an individual. So we will initiate experiments to help you move along the path towards a deep, refreshing sleep. That is everyone's goal. Healing relationships. I will help you build a network of support. I will help you evaluate your relationships and move you towards relationships that help you heal and be healthy. Okay. The number one reason that we postmenopausal women use progesterone is to improve our sleep and our emotional balance. This product is going to calm your brain cells. It is what you normally had during reproductive years to calm your brain cells. So you still need this even if you don't have a uterus. We need to be calm. We need to stay calm. It also relaxes your muscles. If you're noticing after a workout that you do not have relaxation in your muscles, that means your progesterone is low. A lot of women using topical progesterone run into this problem. Topical does not protect us the same way oral micronized progesterone will. Progesterone is an anti-anxiety. You will notice a difference if you forget it for a day. You'll see a distinct difference. Or if you forego progesterone at all, you will see a difference day to day. Your OBGYN has some really specific desires when it comes to your progesterone use. If you have a uterus, she wants to see that uterine lining stay small. We also call this the endometrial lining. Progesterone will help you avoid the buildup of this lining. You might need a high level of progesterone if you're using a high level of estradiol. These two have to be in balance. The progesterone used every day will keep you from having a period. The progesterone also keeps you from spotting. So if you do see some spotting, you might want to switch out your progesterone for a different type or use it vaginally. You're going to have a goal of keeping the endometrial lining under 4 millimeters during postmenopause. And this is just an arbitrary number. It doesn't mean you're sick if it's over 4 millimeters, but this is the guideline that they will use. If it gets above 4 millimeters, you're going to do some problem solving with the doctor on this. It doesn't mean that you're sick. It doesn't mean that you're sick. This is really important for you to know. This is arbitrary. It's just a caution. Typically, we like to see the blood levels above 3 nanograms per deciliter. This is the value that they found works well by keeping the endometrial lining under 4 millimeters. So if you're doing blood work, then this will be your goal. Let's talk about brain protection. So Progesterone is so critical to preventing cell death within the brain. So it plays a strong role along with estradiol and testosterone. They're all really important. It's important to the coating around your nerve cells, and this affects how quickly you think, how you make connections between one brain cell and another. This is the speed of thought. It's protective against stroke and trauma. So we even use it as a repair mechanism against stroke. It reduces secondary brain cell degeneration after any kind of brain injury. What's really sad about our brains is that if we have a kind of concussion and have some damage, then all the cells around those original damaged cells also die. So progesterone reduces that impact. This one might be shocking to you, but progesterone plays a role in 50% of your brain cells. So it's guiding the development of those brain cells in the cerebellum. So this is a massive impact. So people growing up without enough progesterone are going to have problems in the cerebellum. And living beyond menopause with zero progesterone in your body is going to cause problems with the cerebellum. This affects your physical balance, movement, learning, fine movement, coordination, your cognitive health, your social and emotional health. This cerebellum is a pathway which all the brain signals go through. So it affects so much about who you are and what you'll be able to do in life. Lung function is also protected by progesterone. You'll notice on the days that you use it, your breaths will be slow and deep and delicious. We love deep breathing, right? How calming is that? It deepens your breath, so you're not doing shallow breathing, and it supports your lung structure. More health here. An anti-inflammatory is critical for infection and chronic disease. Most of our chronic diseases like autoimmune, cardiovascular disease, and cancer all have inflammation at the base of it. Even aging is considered an inflammatory action. So think of this as anti-aging. I also wanted to let you know that progesterone is being tested in a clinical trial for hospitalized COVID-19 patients. We want to reduce the inflammation for those patients and increase their chances of living. Cardiovascular health, we have research showing that progesterone is heart protective. The immune system. We need progesterone for the function of a special category of immune cells called white blood cells. They battle infections. Let's talk about bones. About 30%, 33% of women are going to get osteopenia and osteoporosis. Their bones are fracturing. I even had one client whose feet were full of broken bones. And this is a major issue for all women after menopause. So we want to make sure we get that HRT right away so that our bones don't weaken and cause breaks. These breaks lead to hospitalization, so this is critical. So estradiol, you might know estradiol is a really important factor for bone health, and it is the main factor, but progesterone and testosterone both work with it to make sure that your bones stay strong and healthy. This affects your posture. We all want good posture. None of us want to be bent over using a cane. Breast health. We know that progesterone protects against breast cancer with daily administration. We know that the synthetic progestins actually increase your breast cancer. So don't do those products. They're still called HRT, but don't do them. We know that progesterone supports our stem cells. These are magical little stem cells, and you will hear a lot about these solving problems for many, many people with disease. So we want to support these. This is our body's own natural healing ability. We don't want to live without this. Okay, let's talk about cancer prevention. So the fact that you're using HRT, it's going to stimulate the endometrium. So inside the uterus, it's going to stimulate the buildup of that lining. So if you let that go unbalanced with progesterone, you're going to get endometrial cancer, or you're really going to increase your risk there. So every day, take your progesterone, and that will balance out your estradiol. We also know that the progesterone will reduce swelling of the tissues. Some of the use of estradiol HRT is going to lead to swelling of your tissues. This is also diet-based, so we can talk in coaching about how to get your diet to a point where you're not reactive and not having swelling of the tissues. So generally, we do avoid the diuretics because water is a magical thing inside of our body. So we're trying to avoid pharma that's a diuretic, but in the case of progesterone, this is a natural element. It's an identical molecule that balances out your estradiol. This is part of being a woman, is using progesterone. You've heard of serotonin. So that's your happiness neurotransmitter. What you may not know is that certain areas of the brain are full of serotonin neurons, so brain cells that are involved in happiness. So there's a connection between progesterone and the brain cells involved in happiness. I always tell my clients we're going to use progesterone, estradiol, and testosterone to optimize our happiness. Progesterone also increases the density of beta endorphin neurons in the LC. So this is the site of emotional activation. So you are going to feel like Superwoman. You're going to feel absolutely fantastic. They should have a Marvel comic for progesterone. It also improves levels of a chemical called BDNF, as does the paleo diet and exercise. And this improves your nerve cell growth and regeneration, as well as plasticity. Having high plasticity in your brain means you get to learn and remember more. So this is obviously something you want in your life. Here we go. Lastly, let's talk about the Alzheimer's research. This is the last piece I'll touch upon on the brain. So Roberta Diaz-Brinton is the reference here, and she was the 2015 Alzheimer's Research Scientist of the Year. And I've been following her since I started researching HRT in 2017. So the brain has all different types of cells, and progesterone is actually interacting with every single one of those cell types. So there isn't a space in your brain that is not using progesterone. We know that it has lots of non-reproductive functions. We used to think the sex hormones like progesterone, estradiol, and testosterone were only for reproduction, and there are reproduction parts of the brain. But now we know it affects how we think, what our mood is, whether or not our brain is inflamed. It increases the power within the brain cells. It increases recovery within the brain and myelinization on the brain cells. This is so critical that the Alzheimer's researchers are looking at progesterone as well. So this combined with estradiol is very likely to become part of Alzheimer's recovery in the future. I want you to know that progesterone, which is also called P4, reduces leakage in the barrier around the brain, and it decreases your brain cell activation that might actually be overactive and damaging your brain cells. So we know how progesterone works, and we know it touches every brain cell. So we're looking at this as an important part of brain function. I get asked about skin health all the time. It is incredibly complex, and it's a product of your HRT plus your age, plus your sun exposure, plus your nutrition. They're all playing into your skin health. Having toxic skin products on your face is also not necessarily good for you. So move to organic coconut oil and soften your skin that way. I want to let you know that progesterone plays a function here and it can be used safely on your face. There's a cream called Progest by Emerita that you can get on Amazon. I also want to let you know progesterone functions in regulating your blood pressure. So if you have high or low blood pressure, adjusting that progesterone might really help you. Now, I know you might be sensitive to your progesterone. Well, don't give up. Please don't give up. See my video, Progesterone Reactions. There are so many ways to adjust your progesterone, even by using other products to counterbalance it. So see my video on progesterone reactions. That was your #1 question in 2021. So I spent 30-40 minutes answering that question. All right, let's reiterate that I'm an independent coach. These really don't exist out in the world, but my health and wellness coaching certificate is board certification, just like a doctor is board certified. I do not sell you any type of products. I don't take a commission on products. I don't make money on YouTube advertising. Please ignore any ads that come across with my videos. I've actually tried to keep them off the video. I don't support any non-FDA approved products for HRT. I advocate identical HRT ingredients. I have personal experience the last 14 years, now almost 15 years. This summer will be 15 years on HRT and the paleo diet. I'm an expert on these things, and I make myself available to you through coaching. I want you well. That was all about progesterone. That's about all I found. It took me 3 years to put that list together, and now we've got it, and now you've got it. You'll see a link to the functions of progesterone in the YouTube description, so you can print that off and take it to your doctor. I'm always trying to give you tools that you need to share and communicate with your doctor. I also have ebooks available, the initial HRT appointment guide. I have an ebook on low dose naltrexone, and that function is often very helpful in menopause. I have all types of information for you on HRT and Alzheimer's, HRT and diabetes, HRT and weight loss, HRT and pretty much every single problem that you're going to have. Anyway, give me a shout. Email is jumpstartaip@gmail.com. Very good to see you again. Take good care and share these. We're trying to help our sisters. Thank you.